Righty-ho then. Let's get ourselves rolling across everywhere. I think we're almost ready to. There we go. We are doing a live alien radio signal hunt once again tonight. We are searching the hydrogen line. That is the channel on the radio dial. That scientists theorize that if ET is out there, this is where they would put the message, hello, is anybody else out there? So as the Earth rotates, our dish is going to sweep across the night sky there, passing over various stars and their planets, hopefully getting a message from a distant extraterrestrial civilization there. If we're lucky, it'll come up in the meters down here. In short, we want that red line down there to go like the green line, very simply there. But yeah, we'll be doing that as the night goes on, because it's a little bit cloudy tonight, so we can't do our normal skywatch. What is the weather looking like? When's our next chance for a skywatch? Oh yeah, no, Tuesday isn't looking good as it's partly expected there. Wednesday could be a good shout for another skywatch. But until then, yeah, we're going to be doing the alien radio signal hunt there. So do say hello, let us know where you're all watching from tonight. And then let's settle in and hope that tonight is the night that we get a signal. We have got some signals coming through, but again, they're probably going to be electronic interference there. They're very, very thin, and we have had similar ones before, so we're going to keep our eyes on them, though, there, because as the night sky moves across, maybe they'll change. Maybe there is something up there that is giving us those signals. But yeah, we're going to keep an eye out for those there. How you doing, Lee? Good to see you. Tonight's the night. I love the enthusiasm. And at some point, you're going to be right. They are rare, but the more we do it, the more our statistical odds do increase. And because we are checking the same patches of sky roughly every night, because it's all a similar sort of time there, and it slowly changes as the seasons move on, there we are doubling down, because we don't know when aliens may be sending the signals. It's unlikely to be all of the time. They're so energy intensive that it will be an occasional thing. Do they do it monthly? Do they do it weekly? Do they do it daily? Maybe they do it once a millennia. What are their timescales like? What are their seasons? How do they calculate their time? Ours is obviously based on our orbit around the sun and the Earth's rotation and things like that. But naturally, that's going to be very, very different for aliens there as well. Maybe they're such a long-lived species, they think they're doing it quite regularly. Maybe the equivalent of our day, but to them that could be 100, could be 1,000 years. So we have to do it. We have to put in the work. We have to keep searching. How you doing, Carl, there? And how you doing, Zen? Good to see you all in. We're getting the crew in tonight. So we're doing an alien radio signal hunt there. Like the film Contact, if you've seen it, or the recent Apple TV series Pluribus, there we are listening out, hoping to get a message from a distant stellar civilization there. Harko, how you doing? And thank you for the gift there. Appreciate that. All goes back into the stream there. But why the hydrogen line? Why this particular frequency here, which is right where we're listening there? Well, because scientists think this is the most likely place to get that message from an extraterrestrial civilization there. And there are good reasons for it there. And Italians there. Sorry to be controversial, but I don't think aliens exist. That's totally fine. That is totally fine. In fact, it's healthy to have a mixed range of opinions there. We don't conclusively know there, and some people more likely will lean one way or another based on their experiences, based on their beliefs in certain institutions and where they're coming from. And you never want everybody to have the same belief there. You always want to make sure there's somebody on the outside there that has a counter belief there, because you never know, on those occasions where you are wrong, it's a bit of an insurance policy there. So it's totally cool to have that one. I do lean towards the direction that they probably are quite abundant. Now, are they visiting us? Are these distances too vast to traverse? But I do think that life is going to be quite common there. We're already getting the evidence now that within our solar system there is so many indicators that there is at least microbial life on other planets there. Mars, Venus, and obviously Earth is incredibly packed. So what is the likelihood that we are just all alone, that we're unique in all of this? Now we know that there are so many other planets around other stars. It's likely, I think anyway, that there will be the opportunities for life there, and it probably will be abundant there, but I don't know, and that is the truth. I haven't got confirmation for myself there. Harko's in there, the crew is here, lost in the game there. We're all lost in it. OGV, how are you doing? Good to see you. Have you got a car yet? Alan wants a ride. He's found something on eBay. It's an automatic probing device. It's up near Burnley. He says needs you to give him a lift to go collect it. Collection only. There. And Harco, I don't care. I can't receive but analog TV crap anymore. I know they're cutting all of the devices off there, so we can't tune in as much. The radio spectrum is getting a bit quieter there. And Italian there, but there's no evidence. So that we hear this a lot. And I don't blame people for thinking this way at all, but there is actually quite a lot of evidence. Now, it's not conclusive evidence there. It doesn't mean that the case is closed there, but there are lots of indications. In fact, if this was a murder trial, it's often stated that it would be a slam dunk there, because there's lots of evidence in there, contextual, witness-based testimony, all of this sort of stuff. We've got more than enough to prove it there, but when it comes to doing this, the radio signals, we have detected as a species a hell of a lot of anomalous radio signals there that we cannot explain, and that science has done its best and it can't explain. Now, it doesn't mean that there won't be an explanation as our understanding of the universe and science moves on. Maybe there will be an organic explanation, but for now, there is still lots of evidence of anomalies, of strange behaviour there. And we are getting also, as a team, this is mainstream science, that they are detecting biosignatures on other planets now, and it's early days, the technology is only just there, but they're able to analyse the atmospheres of those distant exoplanets around far away stars, which is crazy if you think about it. And there's a Cambridge University team is very confident that they have detected the signs of a gas in the atmosphere of those planets, which as far as we know can only be made by life there as well. So it's exciting times, but there are all of these little indicators out there, and in fact the mainstream scientific understanding, which is, well, the mainstream view now is that life is probably going to be common. They don't say, intelligent, and they don't say civilization yet, fair enough, but they do think life will be common. Now we know that there are other planets around other stars. We didn't know that until the 90s. They do think that actually life might be quite common there. But there are all these other strange behaviours. We are noticing not only just these weird radio signals that look technological in nature, non-organic there, and they are kind of where we think they are, which is the frequency we're on here. There, so we're here and there, but we're also seeing stars behave weird. There are quite a number of stars which are doing very strange things. And we'd theorise that a very advanced civilization there, they'd want to harness all of the energy from their own sun, basically their own star. And how they would do that in an efficient way would be to encapsulate it in a big sphere there, and they call it a Dyson sphere there. Or you could have a Dyson swarm, which is like a constellation. So it's not like a fully sealed sphere, but like a network of objects around there, taking all the energy in that star. And if that was to happen, we'd be able to see that from here, because it would dip the light of that host star like quite dramatically. And we are seeing that, and we're seeing it, and we know how much a planet will dip the light of a star. It's normally in the single-digit percentages there, but we're seeing 25% up to 95% dipping there of stars, all of a similar type, right, which are the good and efficient stars that you do want to live around, or in a certain cluster. So we can't say 100% it's an alien civilization. Maybe there is an organic explanation that we're not aware of yet. There's so much we don't know, but there is still a lot of evidence to say that maybe there is. And when people ask, it's the Fermi paradox, where are all the aliens? Actually, there's quite a lot, and we're still only scratching the surface. We don't pay attention to the whole of the night sky all the time. We're still surprised by comets, asteroids, and all these things within our inner solar system. It was only last year that we had a really close flyby between the moon and Earth. That's how close, and we didn't see the thing coming. So yeah, there could be lots of activity going on under our feet there. But maybe not. I don't have the 100% on it there. Paul is in as well there. And hey up, how you doing? Thank you for the gifts. Appreciate those. All goes back into stream. Dodo, how are you feeling today? There. And it's a try before you buy. Yeah. Alan will insist there, so V's probably going to sacrifice you for that one there. Silence is in as well there, and UFO Law, how you doing there? The evidence is overwhelming, and there is a doubt there. So, well, there is a hell of a lot of evidence there, a lot more than the mainstream, I think. But for somebody like me, who I haven't had something close encounter of the third kind, I've seen plenty of strange lights in the sky, goes into the category of anomalous there, but I'm really hard. I kind of want to see the slam dunk for the thing there. But as we said, if this was a murder trial, we would have been, it's enough to convict on. We have a much lower bar for other things, so you're definitely right there. And Worf the Dwarf, how are you? Where are you joining us from tonight, Worf, there? I think you lost your V5, so you're waiting. Oh, yes, I remember you said that, yeah. But you can pick it up there, and that'll be a few weeks for them. Alan, you're going to have to wait. Is it a listing, or is it a buy it now? Is it on auction? He says it's all right, you can wait there. It's the world's worst kept secret. I like that, and that is quite funny, because this, like the JFK stuff, it was kind of known all along, the who and what. I mean, it's not locked in 100%, but people have been talking, and the evidence looking quite clear for a while. It just never got to that level of public acceptance. It didn't, you know, we have this idea that an event will happen, and then that will just be disseminated down through media, down to the individuals there, and that's how it all works. But it's not quite the case, especially in the old days. They can stop it off, can't they? They can, you know, crink the hose there to stop the flow, and therefore it just doesn't become a popular, accepted thing. But there's a hell of a lot going on there. Kate, how are you doing? Good to see you in tonight as well. And where are we? Scrolling down there. Let me scroll through there. Evening, everyone. How are we all diddling? Diddling? That's got a whole different connotation to it there. Up. Where let me scroll through there. More rest there. Last day off tomorrow, and then back to the rat race. That is. Oh, why are we getting signal issues there? That is a bit strange. What's going on tonight? I have to cut Leanne off of the internet. Make sure she's not hogging our bandwidth there today. Oh, it's always difficult going back, isn't it, up? There, let me scroll through there. And most of the evidence hasn't even been released by the illegally run programs who deal with the UFO issue. And it's a bit of a catch-22, isn't it? Because until these things are released and in the public domain, we can't then use it as evidence to prove the case. It's a bit of a catch-22. You see this a lot in, like, mainstream science. It's like, well, you know, well, where's the evidence of the aliens? You know, we're not going to research something. We're not going to spend our money researching until we've got evidence. But until you start researching and putting the money in, you won't get the evidence to do it, will you? There. So we see this one a lot, but I think now we're living in the day and age where there just is so much contextual, like we're all here together, sharing experiences, sharing opinions, the latest news. They can't keep it a secret, and I think that's probably what is behind the current disclosure effort there, which is they're releasing the bare minimum that they have to kind of keep up with the fact that they just can't keep us all quiet. They'd like to. And definitely, well, it's overwhelming. There is a hell of a lot of it there. But I'm still on the line of it wouldn't be conclusive there. And that's a very good point there. How can they be trusted, Italian? This is another flip of it. If I thought what I wanted was the president to come out on the White House lawn there with a big silver UFO and a short grey person there, and him to make the announcement, look, you know, UFOs, aliens are real. And then I realised that if they did that, I'd still question, what are they not telling us there? Is this true? Is this a psyop there? I think a disclosure will have to happen to a degree of personal experience there. Not that everybody will have to have one, but, you know, there have to be 1 or 2 steps removed. We kind of work as a herd. We like to think we're more advanced than these humans, but we're not. We still delegate a lot of our belief and our understanding and how to function in the world by what the group is doing there. And it makes sense, because that way you don't have to figure out everything for yourself. It saves a lot of calories there, a lot of brain function you can save. And normally, you know, if everybody else is all right, you're going to be all right there as well. So it does work. But it does mean then that, you know, we're going to need it to come through. We're going to need all these things to trickle down to people that we know there, to have more common experiences with it there. It is a Derbyshire for how you doing. Well, that explains a lot about Derbyshire there, up. Where are we? Let me scroll through there. Your crappy 1420 megahertz. It still works. If it works, that's all you need, Harko, there. And I bought some berry type tea earlier with the generation to be good, but home and found I can't have it. Oh no, the one thing to try and help, and then you can't bloody have it there. Have a word with Alan. Alan's messing around. Harko there, thank you for the gift. Appreciate that. Goes back into the stream there. All the tea comments. Oh, well, that is cruel. That is cruel, I think, there. But anyway, guys, so that is what we are doing tonight there. We are searching out, hoping to hear a message. Now, they are quite rare, these anomalous signals, but they're a lot less rare than I used to think. So I thought we had one very good candidate, which was the WOW signal from back in the 1970s. It looked exactly how we would expect an alien radio signal to look there. Technological, there it was where we think, which is the hydrogen line there, where we think most likely to put those messages out of all the channels on the dial. It was there. It had everything that we expected it to do. It had a bit of Doppler shift as well, which means the source of that signal was moving, I think, away from us to there, implying that it's on a host planet in orbit. That had absolutely everything, and science still hasn't been able to write the thing off there. But I thought that was just the one. But there have actually been many, many more there. So Italian. So it hasn't officially been debunked yet. There's still a few people come around with theories, but there's not good ones yet. The latest one, which was interesting, was if it was, I believe, a supernova shooting off at the right time, and then there was another thing it had to do, and if that went through a hydrogen cloud, that could excite the hydrogen atoms that then would potentially make the signal there. But if that is true, and how it's been proven, well, it hasn't been proven, but if that is true and that was how it happened, that is the most craziest trick shot that there has ever been in the galaxy there. So we can't confirm it, and it definitely goes against Occam's razor, which is, the simplest solution, which we're getting to the point is bloody aliens, if they wanted that. So that was the latest theory there, but it's definitely not locked in. And what's really interesting is a lot of the one that filtered the other signals there, because when I looked into it, I thought, well, how many other interesting candidate signals are there? And I looked into it. There's been actually a hell of a lot, but science has this interesting way of wiping them aside. So they will say probably interference there, probably a satellite, and you can think, oh, okay, science, they've got a reason for thinking that. But no, when you actually look at them, and I'm quoting some of these here, it's this signal wasn't on a frequency any known satellite would use. We haven't been able to repeat it. We haven't detected it again. If a satellite's in orbit, it'll come around and do the same sort of thing. They haven't been able to repeat it there. They don't know of anything that's using it there. It's all very, very strange. So it's probably a satellite, which for me just feels like that screams bias there, that they're forcing that to be the case. Now, okay, you cannot say that it is aliens there. I think science quite rightly needs a second detection to confirm the source, that it definitely isn't something in between like a satellite there. Fair enough. But to actively say it's probably a satellite feels very unscientific there. The don't know category is still very relevant. We also have a really problematic issue with how we're doing the SETI searches at the minute, which with that second detection, and it makes sense, and the idea is that, if we're here on Earth and our dish is pointing up over to here, the star over here, and our dish is listening to that point there, and we're getting the signal, we're right, okay, the star's in front of us, that makes sense, it's coming from there. But if there's something in between, like a satellite there, that could have got in the way, what you do need is you need to rent a friend of another radio telescope there around the other side, and then they will point at the same star, you're pointing at the same star, and if you're both getting the signal, it's converging on the point. It gives us confirmation, and also no technical errors within your detection chain there. But the way they're doing it is they're going through old data a lot of the time. It takes them about 20 years in some cases to go through the data and identify the signals. So then by the time then a few years on top of that, then they go to check again, well, no wonder the signal isn't repeating. It's very unlikely that an alien civilization would be spending the resources to send out a signal all of the time. We sent out one message as humans, one single message back in the early 70s there. Why would aliens be any different? There. Fruit teas always smell amazing, but rarely taste. Oh, I thought it was just me who's lives exclusively on sugar. I'm glad it's not just me there. How you doing, Ben, as well there? Good to see you there. And Ben, thank you for feeding Alan.
Nom nom nom, thanks,
and,
guys.
Blue Nose as well, coming in with the gifts there. How you doing tonight, Blue Nose? Let's scroll through there. And M to the C, loving the stickers there. How you doing there? They released the footage in the US Congress of the fighter jet catching UAP on camera. Oh, yes, and we had that one recently as well. So the category of UFO, and UAP is definitely real there. So, Carl?
Nom nom nom, thanks, guys.
There, it is definitely released as, it's unidentified. There is something in the unidentified category there that doesn't fit, human technological by far, our ability there, or natural, weather phenomena and things like that. Now, to say it's alien, I mean, for me, that feels like the more logical step, if you look at what else that would mean, but it's not necessarily the case there. To lock it in and to confirm it there, it was far more technologically advanced than anything man can make. Exactly. And I think a lot of people do say that there is advanced technology held by the government, 20, 30 years behind. In this area, I struggle for that, you know, like maybe if they have reverse engineered a craft and they've got one or two, maybe they could keep that. But there is such a pressure to utilize that tech in other areas, even if you're in a very specific program, that I think it'd be very hard to not have that disseminated and go out there. The Tic Tac was one of ours. Well, some reporters have said it is there, but it's not confirmed. That one reporter did come out and say it was a Lockheed Martin there, but they could still be on the reverse engineered front there. But the Tic Tac, if it is the sensors are correct of what it looks like for us down here, that is very, very, very anomalous there. We wouldn't even know, would we, there? And Naomi, how are you doing there? Have we found anything yet? We've on our skywatches we have, but we haven't found any signals yet. We've got some interesting ones playing up down here, but they have been with us for a long time, so they are likely to be interference there. But how are you doing, Naomi? Good to see you. Captain Blue Nose there as well. And it seems like there's 2 spikes tonight. You're hot on it there. So yeah, we have got 2 spikes. Now, judging by how thin they are, and the fact that they're with here for a very long period of time, it does imply it's some sort of interference there. But let's keep an eye, because if a planet comes in range, a star comes in range, you'll see down there, and if something changes, maybe there's a correlation. But because they've been with us for so long, that implies that the source of the signal is probably here with us tonight. But always worth keeping an eye on there. So it was man-made. It's not definite that it was man-made. There's one reporter that says that his sources say that it was man-made there. No, Bob Lazar didn't say it was man-made. No, Bob Lazar said that his initial impression was that he thought it was man-made. When he walked into the hangar on his first day, he saw the US sticker on the side of the craft and went, that explains all the UFO stuff. It's our equipment. But no, he basically said that they were crash recoveries, sometimes historical digs and things like that, but they were definitely not of this world on the Bob Lazar story. For that one there. How you doing, Wayfind, as well? Good to see you. And knowing that, I just hope when aliens do decide to make their presence known, that there's not all flat earthers. Everybody's welcome there. And been loads of UAP over Iran in the Middle East there. Seen quite a few orbs chasing missiles. So very interesting. I think it's going to be really interesting, because having the action in the Middle East that we're getting now, getting a bit hot, getting a bit spicy over there, this is exactly the situation where you would expect to see UFO, UAP, for 2 reasons. One, because military conflict is always going to be the chance when they're going to test the secret stuff that we've not seen. So people are going to see stuff that they don't know what it is. Maybe it's a little bit ahead and it's going to surprise us with its abilities there. So there'll be some misidentification. But also, there is a long history of reports of the phenomena being associated, really interested with nuclear and all that sort of stuff, which is what's going on over there at the minute. So it makes sense, doesn't it, that they are paying attention to those spaces as well there. Have you got the phone tower on 5G one? That might cause the spike. That is a good point, actually. I'm trying to think where, I don't think it's going to be that, but that's not a scientific, don't think, Sir Ben, mainly because my phone signal here is so bloody awful. If I get a better signal interfering with our radio search, actually that probably would be just our luck there as well. And Lazar is a proponent that the hangar he saw was full of archaeological, as opposed to downcraft. They're full. I don't remember that being full there, but I could definitely be wrong. I thought he said they came from a mix of places, and he had heard that there was like at least one that was a recovered craft, but I think there was one that was damaged, he said, as well. Like it might have had like a chunk out of it, or has it been shot or something like that. Then the sightings in the Middle East was at the time of my last Substack post there. That's the theme, and it makes sense. There's going to be lots of activity there. 5G tower doesn't disappear at random intervals. It does when I'm on the phone, Kate. There. How you doing, Vinny, as well? The probed one there. I hope to God they don't land whilst Trump is in power. Else we're all fine. I mean, I'm behind that one, but I'm also like, is there any better options as well? I'm like, it's like I have, like a lot of us over here in the UK, like a healthy disdain for our current Prime Minister there. But when I actually think about it, I go, who would replace him in the party? Like, there's no good options. They're all scum, you know? You know, like, actually, do I really want him gone? Because does it just get worse? Maybe our alien overlords will come in and enslave us all, and we'll actually have a better time, eh? But yeah. Oh, it's a strange world there. Exactly. See, we've always got common ground, haven't we? And something. But yeah, so, I mean, there have been lots of interesting things. What has really surprised me doing this stream, hearing everybody's Alan for Prime Minister there. Alan doesn't like the idea of being voted in. Alan just likes to make sure he's in control at all times. They're there. And there's never a good option. Just have to deal with it. Yeah, exactly. And Ben, that reminds me of Deal or No Deal. Drop my phone. Hello? Yeah, it's the banker. And he says he'll offer you an Angela Rayner instead. I'm not going to take that deal. How you doing, Mr. Money? Good to see you as well. So, he mind controlled everyone into it. He definitely... He can tell himself that. I mean, Alan's working on it slowly. He's getting... all of you guys are getting Alan the banker with a W there.
Did you fall down?
No, I dropped my phone. It's the self-adhesive strips are not as adhesive as I would like. Mr. Gubbins can confirm.
They only cost me like $5. I didn't realise that's what you're using it for. That's heavy.
Yeah, no, that's why so many of them. Does stick actually. But yes, Alan the banker was calling. We were making a pun. So we're okay. Service with a smile there. No, thanks for the ad. Exactly Italian. Yeah, there. The slippery as it is. The big red phone. There, respect the deal. You're sounding like Trump there. Oh, the deal way up. Hi, Leanne. Bye, Leanne. Exactly. We're coming through. She's like a flash. Was she really there? Tell me you've been buttering bread without... Greasy hands are there. But if you're joining us tonight, guys, we are listening out for potential alien radio signals coming in from amongst the stars. They're quite rare, but we are getting more anomalies as a species being detected. The more sensitive our equipment becomes, there have been a lot of interesting signals over the years. One, in particular, potentially coming from our closest stellar neighbour, Proxima Centauri, which is, for me, if that is true, if that is an intelligent signal coming from our closest neighbour there, is that a good thing? Or is it a scary thing, thinking that there could be a species that close by, either at the same technological level or more advanced than us? Because they've got to be at least the same to be sending the signals there. But only 4.6 light years away there? That's not far at all there. Exactly up. So, what is going on there in space? I think there is definitely both scary. Well, this is the thing, isn't it, Italian? They say that, either we're alone in the universe or we're not, and both are equally scary. And that is true, because if we were alone, what would that imply? It would imply probably that the Great Filter is true, and there's something ahead of us in our development that's going to wipe us out, like every other instance of life there. But I mean, certain things that have come up lately for me, which just kind of point my uninformed default position there. Like, I don't think we should consider ourselves special unless there is good reason for it. So it's the Copernican principle as well there, isn't it? Don't think you're special unless there's a justification for it there. So if we're to take that, Earth is not going to be necessarily that rare. There are going to be quite a few situations there. And as we are discovering those exoplanets now, we are finding Earth-like, Earth-sized rocky bodies within the same zone around stars similar to our own there as well. So it would make sense that, life has the opportunity at least to develop elsewhere. Will it? Well, we don't know that. And will it become intelligent life? We'll see. But with the sheer vast size of the universe, it is. I think it is likely there. And then you add the fact that we're not really doing a lot of testing. We're not actually scanning every last inch of the night sky for radio and visual sightings and all this sort of stuff. But when we do look, when somebody does specialise, they do get things. The SETI at Home project recently finished after about 20 years of reviewing telescope data from the Arecibo radio telescope there, and they come up with 100 candidates that they need to investigate there as anomalous radio signals, let alone all the other loose ones that we have there. There was the recent paper, I can't remember what his name is, but it's in for peer review now. Basically, he thinks that he has seen in the telescope data as well lasers being shone at us. Now, lasers are technological in nature there, they're not natural, and they're also directional as well. So if it is true that we are having lasers shone at us here on Earth, and it isn't some sort of, again, freak effects there, although they are reasonably confident they're not, they've checked a lot, But if it is the case, though, that would mean, A, there is intelligence out there to be sending that light, but also they are shining it at us. They know that we're here, and everybody out there has been able to see that Earth has had a biosignature for at least 2 billion years. If they've got the same technology that we have now, at any point in the last 2 billion years, they have been able to see that the Earth has had life there. So maybe they've been interested there, and there is more evidence for it than not. Well, that is the thing. There is actually a lot of evidence for it, and you probably wouldn't be able to prove the negative, but there's a lot more. I think there's enough there to justify inquiry. There are a lot more there. And apologies that I think you're barking up the wrong tree with the signal there. No, it's fair enough. Like with the things, we all can have our different opinions on all of these sorts of things as well, but I do think that it would make sense. Radio is an easy technology there. If you are purposely trying to send a message out there to space, to see, or to out there into this, not knowing who might reply there, radio is a good mechanism to do that. It's quite easy on the technological tree there, and relatively speaking, it's quite efficient. And the reason we're searching this frequency here is not just because those last messages were heard here, but because this is where scientists think you're most likely to hear that message. And why is it giving me an unstable? It's not, for once. It's not TikTok, but because this is the frequent that neutral hydrogen in the galaxy naturally emits a radio signal as it decays, and because that's the most abundant element, it gives radio astronomy there a good baseline for learning about the universe. There will always be eyes and ears on this frequency because it's so interesting for radio astronomy, and that would be true for the aliens as well. So if you want to have a message heard, this is the best place to put it. Out of all the communication technology and all that stuff, this is where it would be. But they do think they're going to be very energy intensive, these signals, because of the distances. They take a hell of a lot of energy to reach it loud enough over the distances there. That's the thing why we do think they wouldn't be sending them all of the time there. And Lee as well, they have found all 5 letters that make up DNA on an asteroid passing through our solar system. Letters? What's that one, Lee? I've not heard of that. 5 letters? Does it mean the, what do they call it? Proteins? Is it that one? And I think if aliens do exist there, they're going to be dimensional. Well, that's a very good possibility there as well. And this is the thing, maybe there's multiple things going on here at once. It doesn't necessarily have to be little green men from other planets there. I mean, the more we look at it, time comes into this as well. Like, if you are traveling these distances and you're possibly bending space and time to do it, which is possible there, you are also manipulating time. You're doing a time machine as well. We travel in time as it is ourselves. So that could be an answer for what is going on there. Keep coming up TikTok complaining about my connection, but it's not, it's fine. But yes, so where are we? Dimensional, yeah, that was it. So, but dimensional could be part of it as well. The Condign report was one of the ones that the UK government did, and they started looking into the light anomalies, the orbs, and all this sort of stuff that's seen. And the official message from that report was, we think there is a strong possibility, this is an official government report, that plasmoids, which is plasma trapped in a magnetic field, some of that could be sentient life that has been with us here on Earth the whole time, and that needed more research, more looking into. But they said that there was evidence of it working together, adapting to it and responding to its environment there, even reproduction and things. So there's multiple versions. You got ultra-terrestrials, something here all along, extraterrestrials off another planet, extratemporeal are there, and time as well. But dimensions themselves, if string theory is anything to go by, and I don't like string theory, but we'll use it as a reference because it's quite commonly accepted at the minute, it's the main thing. There could be 11 dimensions, and we only operate in 4, which is the 3 spatial dimensions: forward, backwards, left, right, up and down, X, Y, Z axis, and then forward in time, 1 temporal. But they think there could be 11 dimensions for that. So technically we're multi-dimensional in that sort of sense, and that'll be another reason why maybe some of the things that are being observed we can't fully perceive. Like, we can see it, but we will all disagree on what we're seeing there, because we're trying to understand a higher dimensional object that's only interacting with us in a limited dimensional thing there. Spiritual could be an angle as well. I used to be quite cynical of those angles, but there is definitely seems to be more of a connection nowadays to these sorts of things with it. And I mean, even in the sense that if you go back to the old religious texts there, folklore and things like that, if you look at those core experiences that were reported, you take away our human interpretation there, the cultural lenses of the time, it does seem like it's the same phenomena for a long period there as well. V coming in with the gifts, thank you V as well, goes back into the stream there. And hi Space Friends, how you doing Pluto? Good to see you there as well. We can't comprehend it. Honestly, that I think hits the nail right on the head there. Like, we're all sitting here, and that's how the human mind works. We work from what we do know. We can't actually perceive something we have no reference point from. You think, oh, well, we're going to see the light coming in, but that's not how the brain understands things and stores that memory. So we don't actually see reality. We see it filtered through our conceptual understandings. Psychologically, that's how the brain goes. So you're 100% right. Even if it was just a more traditional alien life from another planet there, we may not be able to comprehend it and even recognize it as such. So that is the thing, you know, like, it would be so alien to us in that sense. It might not touch any of our obvious buttons there, but that's the original point, and no evidence. Well, no, so I could agree that could be a possibility, but I don't necessarily think it's guaranteed. It could be a possibility, but I think there's still evidence. There is still evidence, you know, that sort of part of it could well and probably does exist there that we're totally ignoring and not even seeing the signs for that. It might fly past us, but I also think that there is evidence for stuff within that realm as well there, and I believe there's a life forms on this planet we can't see, and tick there may well be. We have only evolutionarily developed the senses to perceive what has killed us enough there. So visually we see the visual light spectrum there. We call it that because it's what we see, right? But on the spectrum of light, you've got the infrared down the low end, you've got the ultraviolet down the high end there. Some animals and things can see in those, but we can't, because evolutionary wasn't necessary there. Nothing killed us enough to warrant developing those senses. The same with the sound, high pitch, low pitch, we don't see as well there. And there's all sorts of other various senses that we just haven't needed. But it doesn't mean that though the information isn't coming across like that, and also that there isn't organisms in that space. Again, the plasmoids could be a great example that we can perceive them, but because they are so different to us and so rarely interact, they don't compete for the same resources. They may have been here the whole time. People have been reporting them for years, but it was just so rare that we didn't, and so different that we didn't identify it. V there, have you seen the Cowboy in Scotland UFO photo? And it's been released after 30 years. I saw it a while ago. I didn't know if it'd been released, or they updated it then, because I saw one and it's a beautiful image there. It's like this triangular sort of shape, a more diamond shape in the 3D there, black and white I think it is, isn't it? There, and in Scotland they can see a bit of the fence, and there's this massive diamond shaped solid object there, and there's a Harrier jet just passing nearby, and it's, you know, it goes what I said, if it's real, you go, bloody hell there. But I did hear an interesting angle on that one, and I thought that's quite clever. Now, there are these things they use, or they're reported to use, like radar targets there, which can essentially float. They use them to calibrate radar and advanced weapon systems and things. Now, this sighting was over a known training range, and also, this is the interesting thing from this, that Harrier, the actual fighter plane in the shot, wasn't a military one. It was owned by the manufacturer. Who was it? It wasn't Rolls-Royce. Who did? Is it BAE? BAE produced the Harrier jump jet. But they actually had two aircraft that they kept for testing and upgrade testing. Right, we're going to change the chairs. Let's put it in this one. Let the pilots fly and all that sort of thing. And also, apparently, the photo was taken on a weekend. Funny fact about the UK military: there, we don't work on the weekends. So if you want to invade, weekend is always the best time to do it. There, they don't like doing that. So there's a sign that was something to do with training as well there, and it makes sense. So it doesn't write it off. It's very interesting, but I thought that was a real little nugget there of deduction there. Is it something to do with training? It could still be reverse engineered craft there, messing around on the training side of things. We do know that the Americans do like the Scottish bases potentially for their reverse engineered craft there. There's been some infrastructure reported at some of them for that as well. And but it's a phenomenal picture, so if you haven't seen it, you definitely do want to check it out there. And does that mean clouds are aliens that are just sweaty at times due to sun proximity? Sweaty aliens. Well, I don't know about clouds themselves there, unless you want to subscribe to, is it panpsychism there, which is the idea that consciousness is a universal property, and it's based on, roughly on mass there. So everything has a shade of consciousness there, depending on how much mass there is. A very rough explanation of it. So the sun is conscious, but in a kind of a different way. Although the clouds may contain life, they definitely contain bacteria here on Earth, but in the clouds of Venus may well have life as well. They potentially detected some gas for that as well. And the Ministry of Defence have said it's not fake. Ooh, interesting there, because it is a very good shot there. And didn't they hound the guys that took it as well, that picture there? But why didn't they release it 30 years ago? Well, that is the question, isn't it, there? And I've heard some interesting angles on why that might be the case. So one, they always tout this one, which is that the public can't handle it, which I think is bollocks, because in the turn of the century, 18 to 1900s, the early 1900s there, it was common belief that the other planets in our solar system had life. They thought they were Martians and Venetians there quite commonly, and we still functioned all of the time. So I don't think that's the true issue there, although they like to tout it there. The other one is sort of defense advantage there. They want to preserve the advantage that they've got. Don't want to let the cat out of the bag for that. Maybe there's a monetary incentive for doing that as well, if we're going full on with it. But the other part, which, to be fair, I could kind of see, is that they don't want to tell what we do know, because that might be the missing component for another country that's also reverse engineering. We don't want somebody to have, a disparate advantage over us there. But they could still release certain things, couldn't they, with it? Apparently there have actually been times, and I don't know how true this is at all, this is just a lot around story, but there have been a number of times, or claims, that various presidents were going to announce this, and various things put in place, including they prepped a museum exhibition as well for it at one point, which I thought was quite cool. Don't know how true it was though. And the shadow biosphere is how they describe it. So a shadow biosphere, a biosphere that we've just not noticed, because it could be so different from us here. Again, could well be true there. We didn't know about microbes, did we, until a few hundred years ago, and they still existed there the whole damn time with it there. And Ben, we should try sending things like bacteria out into space and to planets to kickstart life and growth there. So that is directed panspermia, isn't it? Which is possibly how life ended up here on Earth. The idea that you're sending some sort of simple form of life out there to seed it and to spread. It's there, and if you're choosing it to do it on purpose, then it's directed panspermia. But the proposition that life could be transferred by meteorites and various detritus being shared amongst planets and even star systems is a mainstream scientific belief that is possible. We know we share rocks with the other planets quite often, and we know that microbes and certain life and organisms can survive to be out in space and re-entry, so it is possible. And then there are those interesting little tidbits, which now we know that there probably was life on Mars there. In fact, there is I do think that there is currently microbial life on Mars as a remnant of its much bigger biosphere that it had back in the back in the day, when it had water and it had an atmosphere, because we do know now it had all of those things. But when I can't remember, the scientists had a look basically at all of the evolutionary steps that it takes from us to get from single cell to multi-cell and to where we are now, like as a life form there, and they kind of, if our Darwinistic evolution is correct as we understand it, how many steps, how long would that take to evolve from there to where we are now? And apparently for Earth's habitability, we're 2 billion years short for life to have started from zero here on Earth to get to where we are today. But conveniently, Mars was habitable for 2 billion years or so before the Earth was. So it's not out of the realms of plausibility that we could simple form of life there, single cellular or maybe a little bit more advanced, that could have landed on the early Earth a few times, but then took hold when the temperatures we were left less molten. How are you doing, Rachel? How are you doing tonight there? And imagine aliens came here in ships, but they were microscopic. They just turn up and it's the scale of the zoom out. Oh, bollocks. Maybe we're already getting it. There is the argument there with panspermia and things like that, that you know, we're probably still sharing rocks all of the damn time, bit of Martian life here and there, and it's, you know, we're probably all far more connected than we realise. You know, because of that transfer that's just always happening. We've become adjusted, probably there. And out loud to use the bases because of Trump there. Oh, what was that one? If they sweat their paws like us. It reminds me of the deep dive we did on the alien biology one there, the whistleblower that claimed to have worked with the alien biologics there, and basically saying that the greys shit through their skin. There's like a more all-encompassing sweat gland for them there as well. Leanne, thank you for the gifts there. Appreciate it goes into the stream there. Oh, not been very active at my place there. I hope all's okay. It's all good here, just busy. But yeah, I'm sure the activity will kick off for you soon, Rachel. Hope you're well. I hope your dad's feeling better as well there. And Pluto, this is why I like this, because everyone can have their own opinions and they are respected. And I think Pluto, that is exactly the atmosphere that we want to have here. It's like a buffet. Everyone brings a dish, but you can take from it what you want. We're not going to eat force the vegans to eat the sausage rolls there as well. And it's good and it's healthy, because there have been a few times, and Rachel's just popped up there for now. And Rachel, I'll bring it because Rachel is one of the people that did challenge one of my assumptions in a very useful way. Because I was thinking to myself, look, we can't assume, if aliens are out there to come in, right, we can't assume 100% good or 100% bad, you know. I just don't trust either way. I think there's evidence either this way or that. Some people are very convinced both ways with it there. And I still roughly sit in that position, but Rachel's very good point was that if we look back to the evidence, it does look like they have been here. Whatever this phenomenon is, has been going on for a very, 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 very long time. And if they wanted to replace us, if they wanted to overthrow us, if they wanted to enslave us, whatever the negative connotation would have been, why wouldn't they have done it already? You know, but there's been nothing. It's been quite hands-off as far as we can tell there. And I thought that was a very good point. So that is why it's always good to hear. And it's why, even if people have got flat earth opinions and stuff as well there, it's not an angle that I go with, but I'm willing to hear it there, because you never know who's going to have that missing puzzle piece there. And you might not be that you go the whole way, but it could be that clue that helps you understand something else there. As we say, we'll all piece this puzzle together there. Leanne coming in with the shares, thank you for that. All those likes and shares, they do help us reach more and more like-minded people there. You just said clouds sweat. Well, I suppose they do. Yeah, they sweat on us, which is quite disgusting, really, isn't it? If you think about it, a whole new issue, our rainy summer. Then, if you think of it like that, and the 5-layer building blocks of DNA: adrenaline, thymine, guanine. Oh God, I can't pronounce it. Testing me there. Stuff. I got even getting worse there. Uracil. I found on a comet there. I know that the organic compost. He said the organics, the requirements for life, are far more common than we thought. What was it the other day? There was something. It was to do with Mars as well. What was in the soil there? It was certain proteins which it basically was evidence again of life having been there at some point, because you can only make these compounds, or you can only make them in this quantity through life there. So there are little clues. They're not conclusive necessarily, but they are clues there. Sweaty aliens. I can't sweat there. According to the molecular biologist then, apparently you can. There. And that's because we are made from space and matter. What we are. That is, we are all made of stardust and stuff, aren't we? All of the heavy elements formed in supernova and then, you know, shot out across space there and reforming into our planets and things like that. But yeah, we're all made of everything, you know, and that's, you know, to reverse it as well. Like, these things are going to be out there because we are the same thing there. But it's going to be far more common, I think. I think it is all going to be the case that there's probably life is going to be absolutely bloody abundant. And the fire paintballs at the kit. They fire paintballs at the kits from the plane's cannons there. Oh, what's that beer buster? The fire paintballs at the kits from the planet's cannons. Oh, like shooting life across the space. Yes, basically. Yeah. And Ethan, how are we doing? We're all good there. We're all good today. How are you doing there? Alan's all over the place. Alan is always all over the shop. If he's not pulling wires out, He's up to no good there. And, just worried about my aliens there and our beautiful planet. The Scottish bases, yes. Yeah, so he's not allowed to use them at the minute, but they were, in fact, a lot of our bases here in the UK they were different to the Cold War ones. They were paid for by the Americans because we were a very good landing spot there. One of the airfields next to where the Rendlesham Forest incident happened. So the Rendlesham Forest, everyone knows the Bentwaters base, but there was Woodbridge, the twin bases, and basically the forest was in between the two. But the Woodbridge airfield was actually maintained, even though we didn't really use it, by the Americans because it was the landing, or the emergency landing strip for the space shuttle. So it was it was longer, it was reinforced, it was heated as well, and they paid for that as an emergency landing strip. But the same with a lot of, is it Machrihanish? Machrihanish is another base it was a base up in Scotland as well. Had special refueling facilities, they think, for the Aurora, which was one of the non-officially acknowledged ultrasonic spy planes and things. So we go hand in hand, don't we, with that? The deep dive, that was one of the good deep dive. I enjoyed that one there. And Italian there, what if we are the aliens? I mean, this is the thing. What if we are? You know, there was actually life. There was a second instance that we can tell in the fossil record of a totally different form of life on Earth. Oh no, it was a multicellular life. That was it. So there were two different branches of multicellular life, and we're on one. But there was an earlier version that died out, and then ours kind of formed an over. Well, hey! Brokeback Mountain. Hat for a hat. There, thank you, Blue Nose. I've got to do that moustache, haven't I, one day? Remind me next time. I won't shave it. But yeah, so you know, that maybe we came in there, maybe we got rid of everything to there and replaced it, or you never know. We think it could be a old variant there, and ears remain the same but itchy. That, or I wouldn't be surprised if they're messing around with something else. You never know. I don't trust them anymore. And saying that about sweating, sweat from the pores and expel heat from their mouth there. Oh, sweating dogs, though. They sweat from the pores and expel heat. They expel heat from their mouths. They're more than that. Interesting. The biologist one was really interesting because, I mean, to a lay person, apparently other biologists have looked at this and gone, I mean, it makes sense from our point of view. There wasn't any errors in it. But actually talking about the anatomy of the greys, it was very interesting. It ties a lot of loose ends in. Now, are they talking out their ass? Possibly. But, I mean, other biologists thought that it was interesting there. V coming in with the shares, thank you for that. And I didn't need to say thank you, Blue Nose, for the cowboy hat there. But thank you, guys, back into the stream there. Is it rock bottom to lick the inside of a packet of roast Monster Munch, the roast beef? Pluto, we've all been there. We've all done that one. I was very disappointed because I had the flaming hot ones the other day. I used to have them occasionally for my packed lunch when I was in like junior school, and I loved them. And I thought I'd treat myself as a nearly 40-year-old man to them, and they've gone and changed the recipe. It was horrendous. I'm very upset by it as well. V coming in with the hashtags. Appreciate those. And oh, the live goal reached. Thank you for that one, guys. There. How you doing, Beer Busters? Oh, meant kites. Oh, God, what was so I can't remember what the message was. Let me scroll up, see if I can find it there. Oh, at the kites there from the planes cannon. Yeah, well, that could be one of the target practice for it. I think in particular for the Calvin one, they thought it's a radar one potentially, because it wasn't Gulf wartime as well, and there's another sighting of it in over the Gulf as well, I think. Could be butchering those ones together. And it is always just what I hear. I'm not an investigative journalist there. I know exactly what you're talking about there, and the reverse engineering, we would take them to court. Yeah, exactly. And V coming in with the stickers. I miss the stickers there. We don't see enough of them, guys. Put more on the stream stickers in the chat there. There's always something else in my... Yeah. 7 types of greys. Well, I've lost track, to be honest. Some people's say 7. That was a recent one, but somebody else was saying 40, and I don't know. I really don't know. I find it very high. I have to talk when it comes to level of conviction. The more specific we get in the subject, the less conviction I have on things there. So overall, would I think that there is alien life out there in the galaxy? 100%. Do I think that that is visiting us or interacting with us there? 95% there. You know, do I think it's what do they call it? Valiant Thor from wherever? I'm down to 20%, maybe 10% or something on those specific cases there. Bob Lazar, 80s, you know, this, but is it what Bob Lazar thought he saw there? Because he himself mentions that it was, it could have been, you know, a lot of it could have been passage material there or an elaborate hoax. There's all sorts of variables to consider, so it's all a degree of conviction down from the point there. But at the minute, as we say, I feel like I am painting 1,000 portraits every time we get a new bit of information. So I go over to that portrait, paint a little bit more on, paint over something else there, and at some point I'm going to step back and I'm going to pick one or two to hang in my house as my belief around the subject. But until then, until we collapse it from possibility down into a measurement there from the GR to the quantum, until then, we can hold all possibilities there. And can I just take this opportunity to apologise for starting the sweat talk there? Pluto, never apologise. I'm now looking at Alan suspiciously, wondering if he's going to start sweating and get my desk all messy. Loving the stickers there, Carl, there. Oh, but the Greys are hybrid, right? It depends who you ask. This is the thing, I don't know. There are, I think, 3 contending theories there. And again, doesn't necessarily mean that they are... any of them they're mutually exclusive, but one is that they are us from the future, and the arguments for that is that the way they interact with us seems to be, again, we mentioned before, they're not trying to overtake us, they're just maybe a subtle bit of guiding, whether we think that's in our interest or not. That implies that there is some sort of connection there, they've got a vested interest. The chances of life being, you know, bipedal, their head on shoulders, looking very, very similar to us, is pretty odd. The chances of convergent evolution like that are pretty slim there. Again, evolutionary speaking, the trends match the Greys, you know, match where we're heading, evolutionarily speaking. So there's a strong argument for that. But then there could be the, you know, the cousin situation there, that, you know, maybe there was a more central form of life there. Maybe the, you know, our situation here on Earth isn't that rare, and therefore similar evolutionary pressures have converged on very similar anatomical layouts there, so they could be ETs from elsewhere. Other people have said, you know, that they could be a biological robots there, and particularly I think that when we looked at that biologist, what they were saying made sense for that. You know, maybe they are biological robot there, they're made for a job, for a task there. So there are many, many theories, and I don't know, sadly. I'm not even sure where I particularly lean. Either the cousins or the future us, for those ones there. I'm told me that the Greys are related to the Anunnaki there as well. Very, very interesting, because who is it that's meant to be the boss? There's been a few reported abduction cases where, is it the tall whites or the insectoids that are meant to be controlling them? Sometimes it changes there, you know, they're the ones in charge, but the Greys are the robots there. And we need Big Donald to get everything declassified. I believe he will do it there. Hold on. Hello, Big D. Yeah? How's it going? Oh, he's busy, V. He's busy at the minute. Stuff in the desert. Yeah. Oh. Next week work for you, V? No, she's picking up a car then. Can you make it the week after? Okay. I've had a word. That's what the red phone's for. Direct line to the D-man. So yeah, tick there, you have to forgive me, I've got to crowbar the phones in there so I can write it off as a tax expense. So we're the only species that aims for the stars, and ask yourself, why us and nothing else on this world? It's a very good point there. Is it like, because this is how I initially thought of it, it would be like a tiered process there. As a species develops, we get tools, we get culture, civilization, all this sort of crap, and you can kind of see the steps. There are a few missing, but you can kind of see the steps in other organisms and animals and things. They're starting to display those things, but maybe when you get to a certain level of intelligence, we're going to look, the dolphins would do that or whatever, but maybe not there, because there is a few jumps and there's a few gaps in the record for us. Maybe Homo sapiens did develop pretty close to where we are now, to a point but then maybe there was some manipulation in the way. But I heard some very interesting arguments that it can be simple things like the Earth's magnetosphere was particularly weak at a certain point, and that extra radiation there we adapted to. We use red ochre as a sort of a suntan lotion there to protect ourselves from the high degrees of radiation, but Neanderthals didn't there. I mean, there's all sorts of interesting theories, but there are a lot of gaps there. Oh, and is it amino acids they found on Mars? It might well have been beer buster. It might well have been. I know that the perchlorates play quite a big role in causing the problems for it. But now we're wiser and we know that perchlorates can be used as food for certain organisms. They're not the barrier that we once thought they were there. And the two spikes have stayed and are pretty consistent. So that probably does mean that it is something in this room, which is weird because I don't change my setup at all, really. And yet something electronic is either on or off depending on the streams. There might be, Rachel, might be the Torbrons there. The reptilians control. Yeah, I think I've heard both there. I might have even heard the mantids as well. Don't know what I make of those. You got to laugh in this world. You got to laugh. Busy putting his fake tan on, exactly. I don't take sides in these things, but we've got to laugh. And apparently, of course, because I don't believe in aliens, of course, there. But just because you don't believe doesn't mean that you can't, run thought experiments and consider possibilities, does it? There. And we won't tell anyone. There, tick as well. I think, scrolling ahead on me there, I think everything is dimensional there. You could have 7 million civilizations and a dimension for every one there. So dimensions, again, are very, very interesting there. There's definitely a lot more at play than I think we consider. And I'm starting to think as well that digital might well be part of that. It's very early days. There were some people that was thinking that dark matter might be accounted for by data. And, science, to certain degrees, is taking this seriously, but it isn't something that I've bought into. But if you consider this, so dimensions, we tend to, in pop culture, we tend to think of dimensions as, pocket universes. More of the multiverse angle, I'm going to pop physically into that dimension. Dimensions, in reality, are a little bit different. They are the ways in which you interact with the same space here. So if we got rid of one of the dimensions that I was in now, I'd be 2D. I'd still be in this room. There'd be no height to me, for example. So if there was an extra dimension here that we obviously couldn't even conceive of, it's possible they're out there, but it could be the same space. So if we're not seeing any of it, that means that it isn't exclusively in dimensions that we don't interact with there. But it's interesting. I think there's 100% more room for time. Time, for me, there's at least going to be a backwards in time in that sort of sense. And again, it doesn't break physics as we understand it. But string theory says 11 dimensions. And is it 9 of them are, or 8 of them are spatial dimensions, and 3 of them are temporal or something like that. I don't know. I don't necessarily like string theory, but it just points to that there could be a lot more going. There's plenty of room, as Tick says, therefore, different civilizations, and maybe they are all stacked on top of each other. But yeah, we can't perceive the dimensions that we don't interact with there as well. And here on Earth alone, those layers as well. I think if we don't interact with them, we don't interact with them. So there could be other those things going on there. I'm never any good at explaining dimensions. And that's why they call Earth a prison planet. Well, this is the other reason why. Maybe it is. But why would it be because I can understand the farm planet idea that we're kind of being harvested for souls, Not that I say I do go down the road, but I can understand why they'd want to keep us all in one place if they wanted some sort of resource from us. That makes sense. But why would we be a prison if we've not, as individuals, done something? I could imagine containment if we were so dangerous, but then again, I don't think we're that dangerous. What is the reasons, I think, for the prison planet there? And have you been stealing BBC items again, Alan? Hold on, I should cover some of the stuff that I have on that shelf there. Didn't acquire those. Let's have a look. scrolling down here, and similar. Yes, well, they could be very, very similar, and I find it weird too. I'm interested. I'm not saying I don't believe the prison idea, but I'm just curious of what it would be, what the arguments are around, because I don't think I've looked into it there. And Benjamin, maybe we are like a biosphere for them there to look at, like we would a fish tank. I've heard this one, and it could well be the case. I mean, you look to the other planets that we do know, so we don't have the resolution and detail on the exoplanets yet. They're more of they exist, and we think they're rock because of the mass and the orbit, and we can just about detect some of their atmospheres. We can't really take a snapshot and go, look at that, it's got lovely hills in it, or anything like that yet. So we don't know how diverse other planets really are across the universe there, or across the galaxy at least. But within our own solar system, it kind of looks like you've got a cold rocky one, you've got a hot rocky one, you've got a hot gassy one, you've got another hot acidic gassy one, you've got an icy one, you've got an icy rocky one. They're all very homogenetic. No, that's not the word. Whatever, the same. There we go. We'll go back to the Ladybird Book of Words there. The same. They're all very similar. But Earth is very, very diverse, isn't it, in environments and species and everything there. So maybe that's by design. Maybe we are a little bit of a zoo. And we did another whistleblower talk on one of our deep dives, which was really, really interesting. Again, don't know how true it is, but it's talking about that there were underwater UFO manufacturing bases. They're like bigger UFOs that make little ones, and they're here to kind of protect us, and they make the UFOs that we kind of see kind of on demand for various jobs, whether it's research on mining and stuff. And this guy claimed to have worked basically looking at the stuff, the crashed UFOs there and some of the data around it. And he would say, look, we've recovered ones which are like obviously like some sort of laboratory, some sort of mining ones. He said, but earlier on, back in the day when they first started doing it, they were getting ones what looked more like tour buses. Lots of seats, lots of windows. And that, thing, maybe people would want to come and have a look at what we're doing there as well. It's very possible there. And Pluto, I think, could be very dangerous given another... Well, the potential, 100% there. But compared to, like, if there is a species that can keep us contained on this planet versus where we are now, we can't be that dangerous because they can keep us contained and we don't know about it mostly. But potential for the future, that might be the argument. They might be able to see the progression. Maybe mammals, when they advance, are always very aggressive and therefore very dangerous for the rest of the galactic civilization. And only insect-based life is actually friendly, which, go to insects, probably not. But, it could be true there. And definitely in a million years, we're only going to get more effective unless we just get wiped out there. Naughty Alan can't leave you alone for 5 minutes. He's always up to no good. If he ain't a probing, he's a tinkering. He's a diddling. V, loving the stickers there. And Lee, thank you for the gifts. Appreciate those. All goes back in to the stream. So it took me a while there. The D for a reason. Yeah. And Benjamin, notice the moon rocket keeps getting delayed. Sadly, yes. Yeah, and that is true. Now, are they playing silly buggers, for a reason? Can they go, can they not go? Is there an alternative reason that a lot of people have highlighted? Or is it just bureaucratic incompetence? I do not underestimate bureaucratic incompetence there. For me, I've seen some wonders that they've done. So I'm holding out at the minute, but it is plausible. It is plausible that, maybe there is some reason why we didn't go back and why we are not going back yet, even though they keep talking about it there. Even though the newer phones come out with AI, I refuse to use it there. And I don't think it's an unreasonable position. Ultimately, if all goes to plan, we will incorporate it. But we are in the Wild West days now, and people will be implementing things like that far sooner than it is safe to do it there. And as always, I look to reassurance back through humanity's history there, and we have so far figured out every issue that has come up. So I've got a lot of faith in our ability to figure it out. Not that it won't be messy, but we'll get there eventually. But, this could always be the test where we don't there. It could be so fundamentally different. And if it is true AI, and not just the kind of the predictive measures that we're getting now, if it was true sentience there, true artificial intelligence, that is very, very different to any technology we've had before. Not just sort of like on a factor of 10 of its effectiveness, but like as its type there. And we are all unknowingly creating and adding to AI every day. We always, well, that is part of it, yeah. It's so tied in the back end of things as well. We're all doing it there. Only the other day I noticed that it was a bit of a thing they got moaned at there, but do you remember Pokemon Go? The app-based Pokemon game there? You'd walk around the streets in real life and capture your Pokemons on the street corner and all that sort of stuff. When it came out, was it 2016 or something like that? Everybody was doing it for about 9 months. It was the thing. Well, all of that data that you logged where you were walking and all of your behavioural data and all of the environment that you recorded whilst you was doing that has now been used to train certain AI there, which is pretty goddamn clever, isn't it? Pretty useful of them there, as long as it's anonymised. But what if it is a bit naughty there? I just typed it. Tick, we're on the same wavelength there. Great minds. Like that. You saw it as well, V. It was in the news recently. Where are we? Over on the tubes there. And Ken, there is a life in many places in the universe there, but the distance in spaces are unimaginable. Even if we travelled at the speed of light, it would take over 4 years to reach Proxima Centauri. And that is true, and that might be the big barrier. Maybe life is absolutely everywhere out there, but we just can't really do anything effective. Maybe we can send the odd radio message to each other, especially if they're only 4 light years away. We can have a bit of a long conversation, but you can't really do much with that. You can't share ideas and grow together and affect, each other in those sorts of ways. Maybe that it's just impractical there to really function in the distance. Now, warp drives and wormholes, they are theoretically possible, but we haven't built one yet. So we don't know if they are actually possible. So maybe that is the barrier there. But the other factor as well is time in all of this. We've got the distance. Can we reach each other over the distance there? But do we all exist at the same time? There. Maybe we become a civilization and we're around for 1 million years and we travel to distant stars, but then we fade out. And then another civilization is on the other side of the galaxy for another 1 million years, because the timescales for space are so massive. Time is of the other equation there. And it's right there is why a universe may not be possible there. And the distances are illogical for us to be visited. I would believe Earth is a closed system. And there is a massive temporal Cold War between resets there. Interesting. I mean, I don't think for me it writes it off that it's been possible. Okay, maybe it might not be, practical in a traversable sense and to not be visited. That's definitely a possibility until we can lock down those things. The travel or anything like that, the warp drives. But I don't think it writes it off in nature for me there. And the fact that NASA has only showed CGI images of space should be enough to question the narrative there. So I don't know, because I don't know if they're all CGI. I definitely think there's some questions to answer, especially from NASA. I wouldn't trust them that much recently at the minute there. But there have been radio detections of supernova, what do they call it? Pulsars and all of the weird stuff in space. We can do it here with the radio. Amateur people are doing it now. So there is something going on up there. Is it our interpretation? Maybe it isn't actually supernova. Maybe it's not that. But we're definitely getting detections, and it does feel like either we need a very comprehensive other version that would explain all of the details there, or that would fall apart for me. And Vinny there, I just signed up to to go help colonize Mars. They said by the time we get there, I will useful as compost to go to vegetation. Hey, we're all going to play our part, over these distances, you don't want to get rid of that biological matter there. So, sorry, Grant, but, everything has to be recycled. That's why in The Martian, they bagged his shit up, didn't they? Because it's still useful when you've got very limited resources there. So we'll all be useful for that. But apparently that's where, if you buy Starlink, the old Musk SpaceX internet connection directly to the satellite there, on the back of the router, it's got our Earth's sun, the solar system or orbital patterns, but with the alignment is the Mars, I think, transit window there, basically when the Earth and Mars are at their closest point there, and that's on the back because the people that are paying for Starlink are funding the Mars mission there with Starship. Let's have a look. Scrolling, catching up. How do we know Sam's not AI? How many fingers have I got? Like, hold on, I've got 6 fingers there. Is that still a thing with AI images? I tell you, if I was AI, I'd have a chiseled set of abs. That's how you'd know. You know, I should actually. I think TikTok actually have like inbuilt filters and things that you can use. Should we have a look at them? Should we see if I can beautify myself? Hold on. AI optimize? I don't want to press that button. I don't know what it means. Enhance with effects. Let's see. Now, tubers, you won't see what I'm doing here because this is on the different ones. But let's see what effects I can do here. There was a teeth whitening one, which I was actually considering using there. What's that one? Is that a faded beard? Big-eyed baby. Let's test if it works. I'll give myself that one. Okay, it does do something there. Let's turn that one off. What's that one? Hat and beard. Hey, it's like the cowboy one. Hey, what's this one? Oh, we could have hours of fun. Totally change the stream here. Oh, tubers, you're missing out on this one. Oh, that's it. That's just the stream now, guys. That's the stream. It's me as a dancing fucking pickle. I like that. I was looking for the makeup ones. I want them to be pretty. Filters. What's this one? Oh. No, it's just lighting filters. Where's the emotional? Oh god, that messes the colour up. Where's the makeup ones? Atmosphere. Right, I take it back, TikTok. Some of these are quite good. Enhance. Oh, hold on. I can give myself lipstick. Is it going to work? Enhance is off. Turn it on. I'll have to admit. Is it that one? Oh well, let's go actually back to what we're meant to be doing now. That pickle was hilarious. I enjoyed that one. They say the truth is too traumatizing to share, and that sounds bad. So yeah, a truth too terrible to be told is potentially one of the. Should I do the serious conversations, but as the pickle? I'm gonna try doing that one. Oh, sound effects. Hold on. Let's try doing a serious one. So, I'm not going to look at it because I'll laugh. But, so they say one of the theories of one they're not telling us is that it could be a truth too terrible to be told. And that means that basically, maybe the government does know that, we're in an experiment and nothing more, and they're on their way to end the experiment, or, maybe we are on a prison planet, or something like that. I keep seeing the bloody thing out the corner, so I'm laughing too much. But maybe that could be it there. See if he would do an AI dance. You can trick me into doing things by using the what's the one of those exploits there, but that is placing assumption that all other life uses our tech there. Need to stop thinking like humans. Well, we could do, but there's certain things like our tech, isn't there? And I think that we're definitely going to have that bias. But what about things like radio, which is a natural occurring phenomena? We are just mimicking nature, so it makes sense that they might use something like that as well there. And time's manipulatable there. Reach 90% speed of light there. Travel 2 years, and then 2 years back, and it's 28 years past. Well, I can't do the maths on that one, but it is about right. Time is relative. That if you create, if you go fast enough, if we can tackle these speeds there, whether it is warp drive or whatever there, you're bending space and time. You're making a time machine as well there. And it's telling there, if you were AI, you'd have hair. I have hair. I just shave it off because it's all grey. I wonder, is there like an AI wig? Hold on. There's got to be, isn't there? Like effects. There'll be a. I'm sure there's a beard one. What's that? Hold on. This is an improvement. Oh, I can't turn that one off now. It's stuck. Potato trombone. Hey! Oh, hours of fun with that. I can't find hair, though. I'm in a bit of a pickle there. I should get Alan on it, yes. I wonder if it would, like, get Alan's face on there. That's the... Unforgettable. You YouTubers, you can't see that one, sadly. I'll have to clip it for you. There. That's going to be a new feature. I need to get a button specifically to start the pickle. Put it on Alan. All right, we'll try that one there. Oh, did you hear about the fly brain that got mapped and copied into a computer software? It rings a bell, but I don't remember reading all of it on that one. What's an alien signal sound like? That's a good question there. I mean, we know what radio signals, we know what organic signal sounds like, so we can predict in a certain way there. But there's quite a variation within it. But some of our criteria for it there, would be, quite thin, quite precise compared to organic signals. Their nature is messy, technology is more efficient. There are things like that. Doppler shift, that is sort of things that we can look to for that. But specifically, what it sound like? That's a good question. Things like the wow signal wasn't actually recorded. It was it was recorded in data. It wasn't actually the actual signal itself wasn't ever recorded. The telescope that had it didn't have that sort of ability there, so we don't actually know what that sounded like. Any data that was within that message also wasn't recorded. It didn't have. It was only basically there was a signal and it is this strong and it's this sort of this direction. That's really all that we got from it there. You do like the show like that? It was good. The pickle was good there. Oh, not at all. Not at all. Where are we? There. Should have Goose Sunday and Maverick Mondays. I'm gonna go. Don't give me an excuse to buy a fighter helmet. I have glasses Sunday. If you can't find hair, see if they have rabbits. Let's have a look. Is it shark? Oh no, I'm being eaten by a shark. No, it's not as good, that one. Oh, hold on. Oh, there we go. Look. Problem solved. Look at my luscious hair there, guys. Does it work? Does it work with Alan? Hold on. It doesn't work with Alan. I mean, this doesn't interfere with what we're trying to do, does it? Or lower our credibility. I can do the stream with this. You can still see all of the meters, can't you? Eyeliner, red lips there. Oh, I can't find. The pickle's the best one. Vibes, eh? What's this one? Just freezes the camera. That's what that one is. Oh, it's all of these effects that broke the computer for us in October, and we had to get the whole computer just for these bloody things. Oh, characters. There we go. Lion, a cartoon man, toilet roll. Got the gingerbread man. Winter goat, paper bag head, mad scientist. I mean, hold on. I've been doing the looks maxing, guys. It's like fucking Max Headroom, isn't it? This one is called... Oh, hold on, what's it called there? This is called Swiss Chris. People will join the stream and not other than the distortion of the meters there. They won't realise that's a filter. If I turn it off, you're not going to notice the difference, guys. So tubers are going, what is he talking about? The image is exactly the same. Hold on. There we go. See, no difference at all. No difference at all there. But yeah, we could do a filter day. The pickle, the pickle is the winner, I think, there. If there was an advanced civilization in the ancient past, they could have had the tech to leave Earth. They definitely could have. And if there was an advanced civilization, there's very little indicators that we would necessarily see to this day, depending on how long ago they were. So they could well have. That is one of the theories, isn't it? That they've gone away, avoiding a cataclysm, maybe as a separate branch, and they're coming back to have a look there. A photo in the Discord for the tubers. Thank you, Ayup. So, tubers, if you missed, I want to know we're talking about all these filters. There's one in the Discord there. And something could come back. It definitely could there. And Denny as well, thank you for the follow. Where are you joining us from tonight there? What's the WOW signal? Not an alien signal. So, we don't know. It's not conclusively proven either way. It's still a very anomalous signal. So it looks to us lot as very, very alien. There are some scientists that do think they have got some potential explanations, but they have not been proven yet. They're possibilities. So it still remains anomalous there, but science needs a second detection to be able to confirm it there, meet its criteria there. A regular Pat Sharp. Oh, that's good. It's a shame they can't triangulate the WOW data into sound. It would be nice, but yeah, they just didn't encapsulate. They didn't encode or didn't record, sorry, much data with it at all. The way it was back in the day there, they just didn't take that part of the data. It's not like what we've got now, sadly. So it is such a shame. If there's any modulation, anything encoded within it, if there was a message, essentially, other than itself being one, there, we wouldn't have got it there. A bit of Trump going on. Is there an orange wig? And the tan there. Try the mat. Oh, I missed the mat. I have to try that one in a minute, Rachel. There. I'm being scanned. Yeah. It's Alan's ex-wife is in orbit looking for him. She's scanning the area to see if she can find him. Smell what the sun's cooking. Good reference there, Pluto. And but no evidence, and pyramids don't count there. So, well, I'm not one for the pyramids being ET. But you mean for past civilization? So the pyramid one is interesting. There are a few indicators that our understanding isn't quite right, but also there isn't strong evidence for anything specific outside of that. I mean, you've got little bits of evidence, say little bits there, but like, the Sphinx enclosure, so not the Sphinx itself, the Sphinx enclosure appearing to have, water damage that dates it far, far older there. And if you've dug out the enclosure, you've probably made some sort of Sphinx there as well. I think the dating for the pyramids comes from two places. And both of them as well do not match up with the agreed date as well. But it's not drastic. It's hundreds of years rather than thousands of years. And one of them is the internal markings. They think that there was drawn painted margins in some of the upper chambers of the King's Chamber there that basically the builders put in there apparently, but they're only painted on. Although they do think they've been proven now because they've scanned and found other ones. But they carbon dated the pyramid. Apparently there was some biological material, because you can't carbonate stone, in the mortar of the pyramid. I think of the Great Pyramid, and that came back to about 600 years before they thought it was, which is still a bit anomalous. It's not the people that you've messed something up with 600 years out, but it's not like the ancient massive pre-civilizations there. So my main question is though that they didn't use mortar in the pyramids. They just stacked everything. So I don't know where that come from. But that feels like if that is an oversight, there will be a good answer for that one. But I definitely think there's something going on there with that, with the ancient Egyptian cultures as well. Like, where's the build up to it? Where's the development there? Like there's something shady going on. There ain't tombs either. Like there's the literal, you're telling me they didn't have the wheel, but they could build that. We're going to have a hard time to, agreeing on that one. And it still is an interesting signal, and a recent one was from Andromeda. Oh, I don't know about the Andromeda potential signal there. That's very interesting, but it was very interesting, the WOW signal. It still holds its crown as, I think, one of the top ones there. And 99% speed of light, 100% speed of light, time stops. So yeah, to actually go 100% the speed of light would require infinite energy. So I don't think we'd, even with advanced technology, we'd ever be able to get there. But yeah, it would stop everything, wouldn't it? And Rachel, yeah, you don't believe the pyramid theory? No way we built those. So I'm not convinced. Like, I don't need aliens for it, you know, at the minute. I think if you're telling me that our an Egyptian culture, as the mainstream historians will tell us, that they built that and the resources required to do that and to harness and develop those skills over the time, I think there's something amiss there. You know, you not in reality. If you think it's the Egyptians that did that, to the understanding that we have of them, but also it is cutting and stacking stone, which is well within the ability of humans. So it's not like the stuff that's under the pyramid, or potentially under those new scans. If they are true, then I start to go, okay, right, we're getting into the territory now, because that is something that is kind of pushing out beyond our ability there. So that's where I kind of sit with it at the minute. And one organic material stuck in between. I may well have been Pluto. I heard it was Malta, but I don't know if they got that right. It might well have been something there. But something stuck in between. Yeah, that does leave a little bit of room, doesn't it, for play there. Depends how far. It'd have to be like a few bricks in, wouldn't it, to assume that it was there when they sealed it up there. Advanced 3D printers for building, and we're starting to make them today. This is true. There, how you doing, Heather, as well? Good to see you. And they were definitely spiritual. I could see that. I do like, if you haven't checked him out, guys, a guy called, is it Jeffrey Drum? The Land of Chem on YouTube. So he's got a theory, and I'm not saying I 100% subscribe to it, but it's very interesting, the case he puts together, which is that he thinks that they were not necessarily power plants, but chemical plants, and Egypt was known for its chemicals, hence Egypt translates to the land of Chem. Chem is chemistry, alchemistry, all that sort of stuff. So we know that they were good with that, and there's a lot of evidence that does point to basically its large industrial manufacturing. Makes a very good case for it, so it's worth checking out there. And Trill there, do you know CE5? So I know of it, and it is on my list of things to look at, because sometimes we do it well. Guys, when it's cloudy, we're doing this, the alien radio signal hunt. When it's a clear sky, we're doing a UFO, UAP, skywatch. Does this work? Yeah, there you go. That's what it looks like. We see all the weird and wonderful things flying around in the night sky live over Wiltshire in the UK, which is right in the heart of crop circle country, just down the road from Stonehenge. So we see lots of stuff. We see lots of satellites. We see lots of shooting stars, but we see lots of strange things. But my point is, we take the show on the road every now and again to some UFO hotspots locally. Got the old Iron Age hill faults, and I think that's when we want to start playing and trying. I say playing is the wrong word there. We want to start experimenting with CE5. So it is on our list for that. We hear it's quite effective there. And yes, exactly. Oh, Nightly, thank you for joining us, as always. Hopefully we'll see you later on in the week there as well. And out there, no difference, though, with the movement of the stones for Stonehenge and coming from Wales and Scotland. Well, the Scotland one is bloody amazing as well. And I think you're right. It's obviously on a scale different, but those stones are bloody massive. And if you can move a few, you can move... You know, there's something in there that we don't fully understand. I think the bigger ones, wasn't it, that they were from reasonably close by, the biggest stones there. It's the blue stones are the Welsh ones. I wonder how many there is of that, because that's more plausible. What really gets me, though, is that Scottish stone there. Like, because they don't think it was dropped off by glaciers, basically picking it up and moving it down. They do think they carried the fucker. And, like, what does that mean? If carrying a stone is hard, let alone when you don't have established roads or the wheel or things like that, you know, and moving all the way down for there. That is interesting. I'll give it that there. And, some folk see the craft above the pyramids, and it has been documented. I saw a video a while ago. Was it of a rave or something near on the Giza Plateau there? And there appeared to be, a craft above it. And somebody, I think it might have been our first couple of streams, Yeah, it was actually, because we were able to bring up browsers and stuff then, which I wasn't able to do for a while. And they showed us some Google Earth in Egypt. And you look, and it looks like a UFO in the sky. Really obvious on Google Earth there. First knowledge is very... Thank you, that's very, very kind, but it's not. I just parrot the rough bits that I remember from what everything interesting you guys say. And lots of sightings in Egypt, and it would make sense, wouldn't it, as well there. And Heather, we have the Mottis Stone, Long Stone, which is in line with Stonehenge. Oh, do you really? I know that obviously Stonehenge gets all of the credit, and it is impressive. You know, it's the only one that I know that's kind of got the stacking going on the henges. But we do have lots of big, impressive stone circles all around these parts. So it's by no means the only ones, is it, there? And the problems travelling around the collider, the particles, sorry, the protons travelling around the prime warp time, because they travel at 99.9% speed of light. And that is that they do it, don't they? Because those particles are so short-lived, fractions of a second, so they'll never get a chance to study them. Whereas if they send them for a particle accelerator, because of relativity, that particle is still experiencing the time correctly for itself. It only, you know, exists for a fraction of a second or whatever. But for us, not travelling at that speed, we get to study it for a much longer time there, which is a brilliant way of putting relativity to the test there. And Free-Minded Labs, how you doing there? Yeah, they were pros at making acids to make cements, and granite or pyramids are geopolymer. So I've heard of the geopolymer theory as well, and I think that is a real for like South America. That seems to be really, really plausible for South America. More, I wouldn't write it off for Egypt, but somebody was saying that it was that in some of the stones it was unlikely, because there was like the grains, the quartz grains and things in the granites and thing, where, you know, which you get when you layer the sediment and stuff. And if it was a geopolymer, it wouldn't have those for some of the Giza ones. And I just heard it on the side, but definitely when you see the South American ones, when they're all kind of have the puffed out edges and stuff, it's like if you fuck around with cement, basically. You know, it looks exactly like that. But it would still be quite the task, just the sheer scale of it there. And better get some sleep. That'll job interview. Well, hey, Pluto, congratulations on that one, and good luck. Not that you need it there. Photo tower rigged, yeah. But good luck with that one. Let's say you get on there. And ley lines around the west of England. So I heard about the ley lines. I don't know much about them, but we are in that country, so I really should have a look. I don't know. I mean, a lot of people have said about, you know, you can join any sort of few dots together and get these things, but I haven't looked into it for myself. But an absolute pleasure, and I hope, thank you, Pluto. I could say the same for having you guys in. So thank you there. Definitely it runs along the ley lines. There's lots of stuff in this part of the world. I need to look into them a bit more, I think. Oh, and Blind Frog Ranch. I don't know enough about Blind Frog Ranch. I know of it in the sense that a couple of you guys have mentioned that it's a sort of Skinwalker Ranch-esque place. I know of it in context like that, but I don't know the details. I wasn't there some shenanigans with the guy that owns it, so feel free to fill me in on that one. Mast rigging, climbing a sparky hybrid. Wow, that is pretty adventurous there, Pluto. And isn't that's quite well paid there. So, you know, going up all those high destinations there. The proton travels 11,245 times a second. Oh my god, that is you can't. It's numbers, but it isn't comprehensible. They're over on the tubes there. Oh my god, I've missed a few from you guys. Sorry. We are not the only intelligent life in the universe. I second that one there. I'm not sure we're that intelligent. It's still that is also relative. Part 1, two aliens are talking in outer space, looking down on the Earth. It seems the inhabitants of planet Earth have created nuclear technology and missiles, says one alien. Are they showing signs of intelligence? Asked the other. I don't think so. They seem to be aiming at themselves. When you put it like that, that is quite funny, yeah. If the pyramids were covered in limestone, it would not act like a large crystal oscillator, especially if the ground was with gold capped up as an anode there. So yeah, wasn't it white Jura limestone they thought they were capped in. Or was it the granite? I can't remember now, because the base is granite, isn't it, there? But I thought that they were capped in white limestone. They were meant to be before the earthquake. But what's remaining of it looks to be like granite, doesn't it, around the base, where they've cleared it away and it's still there. I find it hard to believe we carried those big boulders. Oh, it does seem like quite the challenge, but for me, it's not in the totally impossible. Like I get an emotional reaction, like if you're telling me, that the dynastic Egyptians with the manpower they had, because remember, population sizes were fucking tiny back in the day as well. Weren't a lot of people to build all of that. If they might go, that's bollocks. The maths doesn't math on that. But I can understand it if there was technology involved in it. It doesn't have to be particularly superhuman, but I mean, that's I think where it points towards maybe they are a little bit older. Maybe there's a pre-existing civilization, because that might be why we don't find mentions of the technology in the dynastic period. Maybe they have got the dynastic period quite right, but the megalithic structures there are actually older potentially. And did they not roll the stones on wood to move them? So apparently that is one way they did theorize, wasn't it? But it doesn't work a lot in the desert, because mostly of it's sand. So they don't have images of the pyramid stones or anything like that. There's not a lot of records. There's one record of a guy that had a boat and a crew that was delivering some stone to the Giza site. That they found part of a papyrus with that, but the only record they have on how they actually moved them is in the images. There is a scene where they've got basically a giant stone seated pharaoh statue, which is, to be fair, a good few tons. That is basically on a wooden sled. Then they wetted the sand and then dragged it along. But it's still quite a scalable thing. Like, if you scale that up to the sizes that would be needed for the stones and stuff, the math don't math for it. So it's still a bit weird there. It's not quite clear. I mean, the causeway is potentially one of the clues to this, though. So there is something called the Pyramid Causeway. I think most pyramids have them. They are a big stone path, a road. They're pointing normally to like the local river. So that is your flat surface that you could potentially move these things across. Actually, interviewed there, and he mentions the pyramids were built by levitation. That's interesting. I haven't yet, actually, Rachel, but that is very interesting, because it's the Coral Castle in America. Again, much lighter. It's coral, but one guy built it, and it was rumored to be on sort of something to do with electromagnification, magnets basically, but also levitation there, which could be there could be a parallel tree. Maybe their technology wasn't in the same sense of us. Maybe it was to do with resonance and things like that there. The Romans came to the UK, and I was reading that they found the UK with hardly any people there. Where did all the people go? I mean, that's a good point. I wonder what sort of estimates were. When did they show up? Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting. I wonder what their population estimates would have been there. And if the pyramids were covered in lime. No, I've done that one. Sorry. Always. Let me have a quick drink. What's that one? Oh, actually, whilst I've got you guys, can we quickly test this again? So if you are on our Discord, Heather as well, thank you for the gift there. If you are on our Discord, could you quickly go into any of the channels and just type a few messages for us? And you should appear here. I've now removed the dots because there's a lot of people. It's quite busy for this one. We haven't spot the Starship Alan, don't you worry. Oh, we got one. Excellent. So yeah, you should appear, and then your messages should come up. There, and there is a bit of a delay, but yeah, we're testing this as a visual representation of the Discord. Oh, testing 1 2 3 there. That's A up. Is that Ben? Oh, that one is not letting me highlight. Ben and A up there. Help me! I'm stuck in the washing machine. Thank you. And yeah, your character should appear when you start messaging, and it'll go into the correct Discord channel. And so as you can see, they're moving probably to the general one, looks like it. Oh, V has just popped up. You're in the mods room. No message from V at the second, though. So why is that not showing up from there? Because I can't get a status from Discord, like a live status. We've had to do it when you're busy there. Are we missing messages there? Oh, you're right, Rachel Free Challenge. It's a special one there. I like a good pun. Well, apparently, there's definitely life and bacteria on the outside there. King Sanuka's in your Discord there. Oh, I'm here. Watch Alan. That perfect there as well. Thank you. You're showing up there in the general chat. Look. Oh, maybe V's message isn't showing because what account am I on? Oh, I should show for that one. Because you might be... V, if you messaged in the mod channel, I might not be able to see it there because it might filter out those ones if it doesn't think I've got permission. That might be why you're showing up, but your messages aren't there. But yeah, the idea is Alan is a sarcastic little... Hey, up there. Alan. He's using his mind powers on you. But yeah, a little visual representation of the Discord community there. So in theory, I need to get it so like when you guys are having conversations, it looks like you're having a conversation in the individual rooms. So, oh, Alan, stop swearing. That one came through, V. That one came through. Thank you for the test there. Oh, and B there from Harko as well. My arse is sore with these spike probes there. Thank you, Carl. Oh, and I missed one from Ben there. Alan is rude. That is true. They're coming in as well, Rio. Okay, it seems to be mostly working. That's good. I've not replaced the Starship Alan, guys. Don't you worry. It was just a different version. I was thinking if I can find a digital photo frame that rather than an image would just show like a web browser page when you load it up, we could have like a little physical representation of the Starship Alan or this somewhere. You can just watch what's going on in the Discord. There. So when Kate would have called you a nerd for that, yeah. I'm surprised she's not already jumped in there, seized the opportunity to call me a nerd there. But it seems to be mostly working. I can't find the Starship link. So the Starship link is... I'll have to give it to you here. Well, it is the thing. Hold on, let me switch over to the Starship actually. The thing UFO.live or www.thethingufo.live, and then put a space after it. Make sure it takes you to that as a web address, not as a Google search, because a lot of people ended up on our Twitch, which it shouldn't do. And then when you're on there, you have to click the sign up thing, and then there's a bottom, it says sign up at the bottom, and then you can register, use the same email as your Patreon, and then that basically creates you an app on the Starship Alan, so you can load it up anytime, but you can also change some of the details there. Tickle your pickle, Carl. I like it. Not the tickled pickle, but we should switch over to the Starship in a second. Actually, we'll see how that one's going there. Less of a day. Thank you, Ben. Yeah, I'm working on it. Hopefully it's going to be more consistent. Has anybody's messages not shown? That if you can see them there. He's a puss. Are you calling Alan out? Good to see the swear words don't get filtered. Yeah, I might have to consider that one actually. I have the spaceship bookmarked as the homepage. Perfect. This one... I don't know if you guys... Have I set it up? In theory, you could do the same with this one. It's on a different website because I'm going to make this available to anybody to make their own. But in theory, you'd be able to log in and have this one up there. Yeah, Hetty. So it is. I'll see if I can put it in the chat here. Will that... No. Oh, yeah, no, it did work there. So, yeah. And when you go on... You will you'll see a homepage, but there'll be like a login or a sign up button. You click on that, you get a box that pops up, looks like your normal sign in. At the bottom of that, bottom right hand corner, it says sign up. there. So you have to hit the sign up one, and then it asks you for your email and your password and confirm your password. You've got to use the same email. It doesn't matter about the password, but you can use the same email that you used on Patreon, and then it can match you up, and then it should log you in, and you can click on the Starship Allen and you can update all of your details. But we'll switch over to the Starship Allen. Shall we see what's going on? So, whereas everybody, DJ and Rob and Fake Kate are in the hydroponics bay down there. Carl is on the bridge. Alan is in his ready room having a chat with Carl by the looks of it, and Ben. Gary's in sick bay there. Raf's in the cargo bay. Captain Blue Nose is in the shuttle bay with me and Rio by the looks of it. Beer Buster's in the engine room. B is in the transporter room. A little starship. So yeah, if you log in, basically you'll be able to, depending on what tier you're in, the free tier I don't think you get access to that, but for the Skywatcher and Club Allen tier you can add your role. So that's the little grey words here. So Kate the Quiet is a bioengineer, and that's where she'll spend most of her time in the hydroponics bay there. You select your room, and if you link your Discord to it, there's an option to link your Discord, you'll get this cool pinging effect around your dot there as well, so you can see yourself easier. But you can change your picture and all that sort of stuff. Are you still stuck in the armory? Hey, up there, you've been there a while. Should we move you? Should we put you to the bar? It's been a while. You might need a drink. Maybe it's been restocked. Hey, up to the bar. There we go. See if it listens. There we go. You're on your way. Have a refreshment on Alan. Stick the yeah. It is sulking for a bit. I don't know why. But some people are have set their rooms to, like, that's their favourite room. They've logged in and created the account. For example, Vinny here as a what you labelled as here, an outside engineer. You've set in the engineering. So Vinny will spend most of his time in that one room. Not all of it, but most of it there, because that's his job on the Starship. And you can set a job too there. Have it already late night testing. Like last night, thank you, Ben, I appreciate it. It was very, very helpful. So we'll probably, if you see me messaging it, probably will be doing it again there. Been trying to get out of the army for a week. You're very parched there. So yeah, if you do want to join the Starship and you're not already on there, all you got to do is join a Patreon. Even the free tier gets you on board there, and you will appear here. Are we still any messages? Oh no, looks like we've all faded out. Just Harko left on the other Starship there. Let's pop back, shall we? For the last few minutes of the stream there. In fact, I should probably refresh the Starship, make sure we've got everybody, because I haven't refreshed it in a while. It is meant to update every night, but I don't trust it. Whilst we are doing that, where are we? So, a few of you have linked. Oh, yeah, quite a few of you have got your app accounts now. Oh, yeah, quite a few of you. Well done, guys. I didn't realise there was that much of an uptake. But, yeah, quite a few of you have logged in, and quite a few have linked your Discord as well. Well done there. So, is this full sync complete? See if we've got any new Starship members. No, I think we was up to date then. Right, let's load that back up. Boom. Where are we? There, I think we are all up to it. And Ben, thank you for feeding Alan.
Nom, thanks, guys.
Where are we? Oh, well, we're going to be winding up for about 20 past, so we've not got long left tonight, guys. But I think tomorrow is going to be looking like crap weather. But Wednesday should be another day for a Skywatch, so hopefully if I can get my weather app up, let's see what the rest of the week is looking like. Right, Wednesday good. Thursday maybe not so good there. Friday also crap. Okay, we've got one day for a Skywatch there. Or maybe Saturday as well. Wednesday, Saturday and Sunday is looking very good for a Skywatch there. So we're going to get a few days hopefully in there. Has a chance to see some more awesome objects in the night sky. Oh, it caught me. Oh, and as well, remember, New Elec here, manufacturer. are doing a giveaway, and we're almost at draw day. We're almost a week away, right? They're giving away 3 of those starter sets, which is basically what we use here, part of the chain of what we're using here to do our alien radio signal hunt. If you want to be in a chance to win, and I think at the minute it's like a 1 in 10, it's not bad odds at all. All you've got to do, all you've got to do is go to our Discord, sign up there, go to the channel that says competition, type the word alien, and then once type that, we're going to pick 3 of you random on stream there. You've got to be over 18 from the UK, Europe or North America to do so. Where are we? Oh, access required. Like, you know what, it's been so long I can't remember what that one means. Does it like give you any options when you go in there? Does it allow you to change your image and stuff and do your TikTok there, or is it just not log you in? Let's have a look at the supporters. Oh, are you on the have you signed up? Because you've got to sign up to the Patreon first, because it doesn't take it. We need to get the data from Patreon. That's how we get all the names and stuff. You can just use the free version of Patreon. You don't have to pay for it, but you need to be registered on the Patreon first, and then it knows to match it up. So maybe it's that one. Let me confirm if I've. Let's see if it's. Yeah, I think that might be part, because we have to get the information from there first there. And Rockaby, thank you for the follow. Where are you joining us from tonight there? So Heather, that's in the so it should be another link in our bio there. If you use that link, it gives you a month as a free trial, and then it depends. Sometimes it will roll you over into the free version anyway, but that will allow you to join us on the deep dives as well there. But I think if you're on Apple, you do have to manually cancel it. You've got to be careful if you don't want to pay. But there is an option for a free version if you just go to the Patreon. I think you can still use the link. You just select the free version. I'm not 100% sure how it works because I've not done it myself. But yeah, there is a free version there. Oh, I think we had a bit of a problem there, guys. Not sure if that's still working, or if that's going to conk out again. I'll say, yeah, glitchy tonight. I don't know why it's having that. That's a TikTok issue, not even on this end. Weird. But yeah, so it should. You should get the link in bio for the Patreon there. Even the free one should work. And once you're logged in there, the website then draws your information to it, because that's how we get around it legally. We don't want to be holding anybody's data. That's a big no-no these days. Too much effort. So this way we just get it from other places that are secure. And how you doing, Punisher? A perfect timing. Good to see you. We're all good. It's another alien radio signal hunt tonight. The weather is not playing ball, sadly. There. Cash is great. It makes his mind up, doesn't it? It's frustrating. TikTok does it half the time. But we are just winding things up for us tonight. We've nearly got some new stars in range. I might give it another couple of minutes, because then we're going to get those stars in range. Which means as the weeks goes on, we'll get these, and it's 4. They're literally right on the edge. They should technically be in range now, one of them. You can see in our little sky tracker down there, that the big circle is the dish, and you see the stars behind it there. As the night moves on, those stars move across the screen in range of our dish. Come on, load up. Spicer is almost in range as well. I'll say almost. A little bit of time there. That'll be a month before we get that one in range at this time. Yeah, there we go. Minkar has just popped in range. 303 light years. It's the first time we have had this particular star in range of our dish. It's only on the evermost outer edge, so unlikely you'd get a signal on this part of it, but it is technically in range there. So 303 light years away. So if we were to get a signal right now from Minkar, the star, that means that signal would have left 303 years ago, taken 303 years to get here. So if we was to say hello back, that round conversation there from their message to us and our message back to them would have taken 606 years. That's quite a while there. But that signal, for us to detect it clearly on screen, would require 1.03 terawatts of energy there. So quite a lot of power. And that is why they are unlikely to be sending signals all the damn time, because there's a lot better things that you can normally put that energy resource into there. Oh, TikTok is being a snowflake always. It's such a weird platform. There. Terrible forecast in Scotland too. Oh, well, I mean, you expect it for Scotland. You get the beautiful landscapes, don't you? But you trade for the weather. We get flat landscapes, but we occasionally have a bit of sun. We're not too far off of actually having a few others in range. But anyway, we're going to leave it there for tonight, guys. But thank you so much for joining us, hanging out, asking your awesome questions there. Do appreciate you all and have enjoyed the evening. But thank you so much, and we'll be back tomorrow night for some more, probably signal hunting. It's been good. But yeah, keep an eye out there. Do join us over on the Discord there as well for your updates and things there. It rains. It doesn't know when to stop. Yeah, I've heard that. But anyway, guys, thank you very much, and good night. Bye, guys.